Living alone in a small townhouse, Claire found comfort in modern technology. Her latest addition was a Ring camera, ensuring she could always keep an eye on her front door. The first few weeks passed without incident, and Claire quickly adapted to checking the camera whenever an alert came through. One rainy night, as Claire was settling in with a movie, her phone buzzed with a motion alert. She picked it up and checked the live feed. The screen showed a blurry figure, standing just outside the reach of the porch light. The rain distorted the image, making it difficult to see clearly. Claire squinted at the screen, but the figure remained motionless. Then, as quickly as it appeared, it was gone. Claire dismissed it as a trick of the rain and returned to her movie, but a sense of unease lingered, making her jump at every shadow. Hours passed, and just as she was about to drift off to sleep, another alert buzzed. She hesitated before checking the feed. The same blurry figure was back, closer this time, just at the edge of the light. Her heart pounded as she watched the figure. It didn't move, didn't approach, just stood there like a dark silhouette against the rain. Claire decided to ignore it, hoping it would go away, but sleep eluded her, and every sound seemed amplified in the darkness. The next day, she shared the strange occurrence with her neighbor, Mrs. Turner, an elderly woman with a penchant for gossip. Mrs. Turner looked troubled and told Claire about the previous tenant, a young woman named Sarah who had vanished mysteriously one rainy night. No one knew what happened to her, and the case remained unsolved. Claire brushed off the story as just a coincidence, though it left her feeling more unsettled. Days turned into a week, and the blurry figure became a regular visitor, always appearing at night, always standing at the edge of the light. Claire reported it to the police, but they found nothing. The figure never showed up when they patrolled the area, and the footage was too grainy to identify anyone. One night, Claire decided to confront her fear. She stayed up late, watching the live feed. As the rain began to pour, the familiar alert buzzed. The blurry figure appeared again, but this time Claire was ready. She grabbed her umbrella and flashlight and stepped out onto the porch. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice shaking. The figure didn't respond. She took a few steps forward, the rain soaking her feet. The figure was clearer now, almost solid. As she raised her flashlight, the beam cut through the rain, illuminating the figure. It was a woman, her face pale and eyes wide with fear. Claire gasped, recognizing the face from old missing person posters that Mrs. Turner had shown her. It was Sarah. "Help me," the woman whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. Claire's blood ran cold. She took a step back and the woman reached out, her hand passing through the light, appearing almost translucent. "Help me find peace," Sarah's voice echoed in Claire's mind, not through the air but as if directly in her thoughts. Terrified, Claire ran back inside, locking the door behind her. The alerts kept coming, each one showing Sarah standing in the rain, her plea for help silent but desperate. Claire spent the night in a state of panic, unsure of what to do. The next morning, Claire visited the local library, researching Sarah's disappearance. She discovered that Sarah had been involved in a troubled relationship and had been last seen arguing with her boyfriend during a stormy night. There were rumors that he was abusive, but he had disappeared shortly after Sarah, and no one had been able to find him either. Claire felt a connection to Sarah's restless spirit. She decided to reach out to a local paranormal investigator, hoping to help Sarah find peace. The investigator, a middle-aged woman named Margot, listened intently to Claire's story and agreed to help. That night they set up a small altar with candles and Sarah's photograph on the porch. As the rain began to fall, the familiar alert buzzed. Sarah's figure appeared, clearer than ever, standing just at the edge of the porch. Margot began to speak, her voice calm and soothing. "Sarah, we are here to help you. We know you are in pain. Show us what you need." Sarah's figure moved forward, her face sad but hopeful. She led them to a spot in the yard, right beneath an old oak tree. Claire and Margot began to dig, the rain turning the soil to mud. After hours of digging, they found it, a shallow grave with skeletal remains wrapped in a tattered coat. The police were called, and the remains were identified as Sarah's boyfriend. He had been killed in a struggle, likely by Sarah in self-defense, and she had buried him, only to meet a tragic end herself. With the discovery, Sarah's visits ceased, the alerts stopped, and the house felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted. Claire still used her Ring camera, but now she felt a sense of peace, knowing she had helped a lost soul find rest. The rains came and went, but the echoes of that fateful night remained a distant memory, a reminder of the fragile boundary between the living and the dead.